Hey guys, Auspicious Aussie here, and this is going to be the rules for the Scottish Players Only Celtic series. Number one, all foreign players must be sold or released. Obviously, that counts for the players that start at the club. We're getting rid of all non-Scottish players unless they have a dual nationality with Scottish nationality as one of them. Number two, players with dual nationality can be used until they receive a cap for another nation. Self-explanatory, common sense. Number three, youth caps do not count towards being eligible, only senior caps for national teams. That alludes to the second rule. Obviously, some youth players are going to be picking up caps for different youth teams. However, if they do have Scottish nationality and they don't have a senior cap for that national team, they are eligible to play and they are considered Scottish only, even though they are a dual national. Number four, manager may not be added in order to get Scottish national team job. Obviously, I'm going to try and become the Scotland manager. And in regards to doing so, I'm not going to be able to add a manager to create a vacancy for the Scotland national team. So we need to get that by pure means. So basically, the manager needs to be sacked or retire or step down, and then we apply and become manager that way. Now, we have the goals. Goals of the series are pretty normal. Obviously, want to win the Scottish Professional Football League, the Scottish Premiership, without a shadow of a doubt. I'm assuming that is a given for Celtic. We also need to win the Scottish Cup and the Scottish League Cup. Both of those tournaments, I think, are very achievable for Celtic, even under these challenge rules. The next one, however, much more difficult, and that is to win the UEFA Champions League. Obviously, the biggest, realistically, the biggest prize in club competition, Champions League. You know, Celtic, they have a pretty unique history with European competition. We want to further that and not just be a group stage competitor for the duration of the series. The next three goals here on the list all pertain to the national team. The first of which, getting the Scottish national team job. That is a goal in itself. Going to be relatively difficult, at least until a few seasons into the game. The next one is to win the European Championship with the Scottish national team. And finally, the last goal, the biggest goal you could probably imagine, is to win the World Cup with the Scotland national team. Obviously, we can add a few stipulations onto that after we achieve that goal, or if we achieve that goal. Anyways, let's get into the episode. Welcome to episode 10 of the Celtic Scottish Players Only series. Now, it's worth mentioning that I am back from my holiday. I did pre-record a lot of episodes before I left. I've been in New Zealand for 2 weeks, which has been great. Yeah, back to Celtic. We've got AJAX. We're going to be taking them on in the Europa League first knockout round. Also worth mentioning that the intro to these videos from next episode onwards, the intro is going to be cut very short. Obviously, you've more or less had the intro and me sort of explaining the rules for the last 9 episodes. I did actually miss putting that on episode 9. But anyway, let's get into the recent fixtures. We'll get into the league table first. As you can see, we're currently in first place ahead of Rangers. 1 point ahead of them at the moment. Played 27 games. We've won 21, drawn 4, lost 2. And as you can see, they have lost 1 more game than we have drawn. So we find ourselves ahead. However, it hasn't been smooth sailing. And of course, the last episode was St. Mirren, the 3-0 victory. A bit of an impromptu episode. Just wanted to get that last episode recorded before I left on the day of leaving as well. The next game was Aberdeen, a 2-0 victory there. Greg Taylor and Lewis Ferguson on the score sheet for us. We then went away to Hearts, managed to beat them 1-0 through a Barry Douglas goal in the 83rd minute. We then smashed Hamilton 3-1. I say smash, but Lewis Ferguson getting himself a hat-trick, albeit one of the goals was a penalty. We also beat Livingston 1-0 away from home, Greg Taylor getting the goal in the 15th minute. We then could only manage a 0-0 draw in the Scottish Cup 5th round against Livingston as well. Another away game at their arena. Bit of an interesting game. Quite a few strikers. It was a bit of a rotated team, but all the strikers that played pretty dreadfully and could not score. We then actually lost our first game in, I think, 15 games unbeaten, and that was against Kilmarnock. 2-1 loss there. Liam Miller getting 2 goals, the Kilmarnock striker. We had John Sutar get a goal back to bring us to 1-1. Yeah, we couldn't get another goal, and as you can see, Griffiths missed a penalty. Got a 6.2 match rating for himself there. But luckily, he has just come back into form. As you can see here, Griffiths getting a hat-trick for himself in the league, in the home tie in the league against Kilmarnock. Bit of weird scheduling. We versed them twice in 3 days, both games in the Premiership. Probably has something to do with Europa League, I would say. I honestly have no idea. Anyway, today's games, like I said, you can probably tell from the title, going to be taking on AJAX in the away and home legs. We're going to play the Livingston game off camera. Yeah, let's get into the lineup for today's game. Well, the first game, anyway. Going to go with Bain in goals. Sutar, Kerr, and McKenna will be the centre-backs. Going to go with O'Donnell in the right wing-back position. Taylor in the left wing-back position. Henderson, McGregor, and Ferguson will be the centre-mids today. And then up front, we're going to go with Griffiths and Johnston. The bench day is going to be Gordon, Hendry, Douglas, Murray, Mallon, Christie, and Martin. Alright, here we go. I mean, drawing Ajax at this early stage is pretty bad, considering how good of a team they are, especially in the Europa League. They're probably one of the top teams for us to be facing this first season. As you can tell from their lineup, some very, very solid players there. Van der Beek, Neres, Tadic, Veltman, Tagliafico, Zajic, Daley Blind as well. Of course, former United player. I mean, even their goalkeeper, Onana, very, very strong players. And of course, yeah, as a result, we are the underdogs. I expect us to possibly go out at this stage. I don't want it to happen. But I have to say our form has dipped off a little bit. Of course, we've had a draw. We've had a loss in there as well. Realistically, against teams that we should be beating from Scotland. So to be versing arguably the best Dutch team, it's going to be tough. Very tough for us to get through. And it's disappointing because it is only the first knockout round. And I wanted to try and test the waters later in the competition. Anyway, Griffiths in behind. And he puts it in the back of the net for his 40th goal of the season. Like I said, he had a bit of a bad spell. That missed penalty against Kilmarnock. But of course, getting the hat-trick in the last game. And getting the goal here, the opening goal in the first minute of the game, is massive. And of course, it's an away goal as well, so even more important than first thought. And I'm surprised to see us 1-0 up, if I'm being completely honest. And we got Ferguson picking up a yellow card. He's probably been the best midfielder since the last episode. I feel like the young 20... I think he's 20. Pretty sure he's 20 years old. He's definitely been the standout centre mid. And I have to say, the other centre mids have been pretty poor. Armstrong really dipped off, along with McGregor as well. Henderson been pretty average, but, you know, average consistent, if that makes sense. Anyway, we're launching another attack here through Johnston. Not a great ball up front, but Ferguson gets it. Plays a really nice ball to Griffiths, and that's straight at Onana, the goalkeeper. We are dominating them, though, massively. Which is definitely a positive. I just want to say thank you as well, as we defend a corner there, for all the support on the episodes recently. Now, I have been gone, like I said, the last 2 weeks, essentially. And, yeah, the videos have been doing really well. And I'm pleasantly surprised. I had internet sometimes throughout the trip, so I was replying to a couple of comments that came through. And always enjoy reading my comments. Had some feedback on, I think, the 8th episode. Basically just wondering why there were so many episodes for this first season. And I think the reasoning behind that, and what I explained in my reply to that comment, was, ooh, is he offside? He's onside. Mikey Johnston getting the second goal of the game there, pretty much on the stroke of half-time. Henderson with the assist. And that is a massive goal. We're 2-0 up away from home. Henderson to Johnston. Nice finish just before the goalkeeper came out. And I'm really surprised that we're 2-0 up and it's doing a double replay for some reason. Yeah, like I was saying, this first season I wanted to just really allow you guys to get familiar with the players, because realistically most of these players are going to be at the club for the next 5 to 10 years. 5 to 10 seasons, so allowing all you guys to familiarize yourself with the relative squad that we're going to be taking forward throughout the series, at least until we're able to start producing regens and youth players from other Scottish teams. This is going to be the basis of our starting lineups going forward. And yeah, the first season's always, I would say, important, especially gauging people's opinions as well, as somehow Veltman has just got a goal back there for AJAX. We're still 2-1 up, but Veltman is essentially a centre-back. He should not be beating 2 players and then putting it in the back of the net for his first goal of the season. A little bit disappointing there. Might even demand more from our players. I find that shout really works well, as O'Donnell puts in a nice cross. Taylor his header just goes over the bar. Very unlucky. And we're going to make a sub here. McGregor. He was on a 6 match rating just before. We're going to bring him off. Guess, yeah, we'll go with Mallon. I haven't given Mallon much game time since the start of the season. Pretty much because he was relatively bad when called upon. And that's gone in the back of the net. Is that an own goal? I think it is. Sutar, I'm pretty sure it came off him. And it's gone back to 2-2. AJAX straight back in as we enter the last 20 minutes of the game. And yeah, that's Zajic, I'm not 100% sure how to pronounce his name, but his shot was going wide and takes a deflection off Sutar into the back of the net. And Tadic is in behind. Bain with a good save, and we do get the ball clear there. I want to push the boys forward, but I'm really scared about doing that, actually. And we do have the advantage at the moment. Griffiths in behind. Can he finish? He can't. And AJAX managed to get the ball away. Put out for a throw-in. O'Donnell with the long throw. Into Johnston. Back to O'Donnell. Cross, not a great cross to the back post. McKenna will get it though. Henderson. And AJAX have stolen the ball away. Huntelaar coming forward. We're pulling him wide, which is good. That's Danny Drinkwater. I did not realise he was at AJAX. That's an interesting transfer. All right. I don't want to push him forward. I can't. I can't risk it. We've got a massive advantage, I have to say. I mean, Tadic has picked up an injury there as well. Hopefully he'll be out for the second leg. But first leg finishing 2-2 is actually a good result for us, even though, I mean, we were 2-0 up. That would have been a much better advantage going forward. Anyway, Henderson, man of the match. Give him some praise. Like I said, he's been relatively consistent while not being amazing, so good to see him actually step up there. Anyway, I'm going to play the Scottish Cup 5th round replay off camera, and I'll join you back for the lineup for the second leg at home. Alright, so let's go over the Livingston game really quickly. We did manage to win it, as you can see. However, it came in extra time. Unfortunately, the one thing that I didn't really want to happen was for it to go to extra time. Chris Martin missed a penalty, 15th minute. Jack Hendry got us a goal in the 23rd. And luckily for us, they got an equaliser in the 84th minute before Barry Douglas, just in the start of extra time, getting a goal to put us 2-1 up and into the quarterfinals, in which we'll play League One side Wraith Rovers, which I think is a very favourable draw for us to try and make it into that semi-final for the Scottish Cup. Now, if we go back, we'll get into the lineup. We're going to go full strength. We do have a few suspensions today, Ferguson and Sutar, but we also have Forrest just coming back from injury, which is great because we haven't really had a right wing back replacement or backup or sort of rotation, which has been pretty bad at the moment. I'm also going to go into Armstrong here and just warn him about his recent form because he's been relatively dreadful. Anyway, starting lineup, we're going to go with Bain, Kerr, Hendry, and McKenna make up the centre backs. We're going to stick with O'Donnell on the right wing back position, Taylor in the left wing back position, midfield trio of Armstrong, McGregor, and Henderson, and then up front we're going to stick with Griffiths and Johnston. The bench today is going to be Gordon, Wilson, Douglas, Forrest, Murray, Christie, and Martin. Chris Martin getting a 5.9 in the Scottish Cup game. So yeah, probably the worst transfer I've made so far in the series, I would say. Just looking at their lineup, obviously Huntelaar comes in for Tadic. I'm assuming that he is currently out injured after that first leg. Blind goes back into centre back, which is interesting. Huntelaar coming in, Veltman staying at right back, of course, scoring the goal, which was really annoying and disappointing, considering it was his first goal of the season. Anyway, I'm going to tell the boys that I expect them to win today, and we'll see what happens, I guess. O'Donnell with a long throw. Johnston, his header goes just over the bar. But I guess a positive sign to start the game. I mean, it couldn't get any more positive than the first leg, the way we started that. Ooh, Veltman's picked up a knock, as has Lee Griffiths. That's a very interesting injury. I'm not 100% sure what to do at this point. I guess we'll just go with Christie. I'm not sure if there's any other option. I mean, I don't really want to bring Martin on. Like I said, he's pretty dreadful at the moment. Anyway, Armstrong to Taylor, and that is a screamer. 12th goal of the season for the left wing back. We just gave him a new contract as well. Pretty hefty, 19k per week, which is, relatively high compared to a lot of players. I think our highest at the moment is about 25k. Unless I think I might have given Griffiths a new contract, which might be higher than that. I'm not 100% sure. I can't remember. Because I think I did give him a new contract before I went on my holiday. Anyway, we are 1-0 up in this game, 3-2 on aggregate. And we're coming forward again. Taylor to Christie, hits the post. Oh, that's so unlucky. So unlucky not to get a second goal there. Armstrong with a corner. Christie again, and somehow it eventually goes in the back of the net. I think Christie took a shot, deflected. Henderson took a shot, deflected into Christie again, who put it in the back of the net. As you can see there, the double shot block ricochet falling to our player, and Christie off the bench getting our second goal. And we're 2-0 up, like we were in the first leg. And now Ajax are coming forward there. It's like they only switch on once they're 2-0 down, and we're 2-0 up. But yeah, Alvarez is going to pick up a yellow card there, which is always good for us. Armstrong with a nice ball over the top. Christie, can he put it away? Oh, he hits the post again. So unlucky. Definitely should have been his second goal. He's playing really well, though, in the sort of advanced forward role. Apparently O'Donnell not playing too well. I might even look to get Forrest on in the last 10 minutes. Obviously, I don't want him to pick up another injury. He's not exactly fit. Part of me thinks maybe we should just wait. He can get some game time. Christie's in behind there, but his shot is saved. In the next game is the Scottish Cup quarterfinal, and it's against Wraith. Like I said, favourable for us. They're essentially 2 divisions below us. Now, Sergino Dest is on the pitch for Ajax. Very talented wonder kid. Could possibly change the game for them. Anyway, Taylor gets his own header, which is interesting. And he gets the ball back from McKenna there. Acres of space, goes himself. Unfortunately, had better options than the keeper, Onana. Saves that. I'm not sure if it was even a shot. Kind of looked like he was in 2 minds as Bain pulls out a massive save. And again, Ajax, they're coming forward with real purpose. But we are weathering the storm. I have to say, I'm pretty happy at the moment. Oh, Christie's in behind again. Can he score? Another good save, man. That's a few opportunities now that have just not looked good from Christie. He probably should have he might have even had a hat-trick by now. I mean, he's gotten unlucky hitting the post. But I thought he might have scored that last opportunity. Now Johnston kind of pulled back by the Ajax player. And his shot is saved as well. I don't particularly want to make any changes. Oh, Johnston's shot is saved again. Onana is a good goalkeeper. It's worth saying. And Ziyech has picked up an injury there. Or picked up a knock anyway. He's taken off the pitch. Danny Drinkwater coming on for him. But yeah, we'll make the change. We'll do it. O'Donnell's struggling out there massively. So yeah, James Forrest making his return from injury for the last 10 minutes of the game. You know, hopefully, touch wood, he doesn't pick up another injury. Because it's so important to have, a couple of players. As Stuart Armstrong, I criticised his recent form. And he's come up with our 3rd goal there in the 82nd minute. We're 3-0 up in this second leg. 5-2 on aggregate. It looks like we're about to eliminate Ajax from the Europa League, which is brilliant stuff. And of course, we can make his transfer permanent. We do have an option to buy for Stuart Armstrong. I believe it's just over 15 million. Very steep. I know that. Very steep for a player that I would say is relatively replaceable. Of course, going forward, we want to focus on bringing through our own, not only academy prospects, but, we can purchase other prospects from Scottish teams. And that's going to be a real way for us to, bring in some of the best Scottish players as, as younger players and develop them through our sort of academy system. And then, of course, we have, I would say, relatively good youth facilities and youth recruitment as well. Anyway, Alvarez has got sent off, so things are going from bad to worse for Ajax. I mean, half their team are on yellow cards anyway. There we go, 3-0 victory, 5-2 on aggregate, like I said. And I have to say, this is a very, very good episode to come back from. And there we go, Griffiths only injured for 2 days, which is even better because I was a little bit worried about that. Like I said, he's scored over 40 goals. 40 goals? Yeah, 40 goals. Anyway, we get an extra 430k for playing in the knockout round. And there we go, Stuart Armstrong, man of the match. Much needed. Anyway, that's going to end the episode, guys. If you could smash the like button, it'd be much appreciated. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And yeah, the intros for the upcoming episodes, they're all going to be very short. I'm going to record a new intro. Just where I say a few sentences. You guys can look at the goals and the rules in about 15 to 20 seconds is what I want to keep it to. I think that should be good going forward. Anyways, as always, guys, take it easy and goodbye.